Hi friends, and welcome back to the channel. So you want to be rich, you want to have a grand life, you want to drive that sports car, you want to go on holiday, you want to be free, you want to be financially free, you want to have time to spend with your family and friends without anyone having to tell you what to do, where to be. Basically, just want to have that freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, and with whomever you want. Now, I know there are many people out there who feel like navigating through personal finances can be a very difficult and daunting activity where you feel like you're absolutely going nowhere, you feel like you're stuck, you feel like all these dreams that we've just mentioned, and you can't achieve them. You see all these people starting all these businesses, successful businesses, writing these books, owning these companies, and you're in a situation where you feel like you're stuck. I know that feeling, and I've been there, and I've gone through that, where I feel stuck, where I feel like I'm going nowhere, where I feel like I'm not achieving my goals. Trust me, I get it, and I've been there. So today the question we're going to be answering is, can you achieve the wealth that you've always dreamed of? Is it that difficult? How can you achieve it? So today we're going to answer all those questions. I'm going to take you through the fundamentals of personal finance and show you in a step-by-step approach how a normal person like you and I can achieve our financial goals, build the wealth that we want, and build the life that we want for ourselves and our families, and be happy and feel fulfilled within ourselves. So let's get into it. So let's start with income. Income is basically the starting point of personal finance. Income is basically the lifeblood of personal finance, and it's also the lifeblood of any goals and objectives that you want to achieve for yourself in this life. So the starting point of personal finance is get yourself a source of income, and that is absolutely vital, because without that you can't do absolutely anything. You can't save, you can't invest, you can't even get to any point where you remotely start moving towards achieving your goals. That is absolutely impossible. So that life that you want to build can only be built through, first of all, getting an income. So get yourself out there and find a source of income. Now, you might be someone who already has a source of income, whether that is salary or commission, interest, dividends. Doesn't matter what source of income that is, but just get a source of income, because this is going to be the lifeblood of any financial goal that you set for yourself. Buying that car, buying that house, going on holiday, being financially free, and living the life that you want. That is the starting point. If you're someone who already has a source of income, kudos to you. You're already one step there. However, if you're someone who does not have a source of income, I will encourage you to go out there and try your best and just get some source of income. These days, thankfully, we live in an era where there are so many different ways to earn an income, whether it is online through all sorts of different avenues, whether that is affiliate marketing, starting a YouTube channel like I'm doing right now. You can be a creative, or you can be a corporate person where you can go to school, go and get a job and start earning money, whether you're investing in stocks or you're trading. Just get a source of income, and that's the starting point. Now, it's not enough to earn an income. That's one of the things I want to tell you. It's not enough to earn an income. It's also critically important that you know your income. So basically, your income is all the income that you earn. So all your cash inflows. Like I said, whether you're earning a dividend or salary, or some of you have multiple sources of income. So you might find you're someone who has a salary, you have some stocks, so you're earning some dividends of that. No matter where you earn your income, it's important that you know how much you're bringing in, and that's the starting point. So if you're someone who's not earning income, you need to go out there and start earning an income. If you're someone who already has a source of income, or sources of income, if you're among the few who have multiple sources of income, it's important that you know exactly how much you're bringing in. I'll give you an example. Say I'm a salary earner who is earning $2,000 take home every single month. So that is my source of income, and we're going to be using this example throughout the entire video. So keep this figure in mind, $2,000 a month. So if I'm earning $2,000 a month through my day job, now that's my income. I know at the end of every month I'm going to be earning that much. If you're someone who has so many sources of income, find out how much each of these sources of income brings you in. So if it's the job that brings in $2,000, you have $2,000 here from my job. I have some, let's say, dividends that come in every month. So you're investing in maybe some S&P 500 or the index funds or something like that, whatever you do. Or it's that side hustle that you're doing. Every single month, the starting point is know exactly how much you're bringing in, and that is a good starting point. So bear that in mind. Number one, if you don't have an income already, that's okay. That's absolutely okay. Just go out there and find a way of earning money, as long as it's legal, obviously. But two, so once you start earning that income, and even for those of you who already have a source of income or multiple sources of income, it's absolutely critical that you know exactly how much you're bringing in from all these different sources. Whether it's one source or multiple, know exactly how much you're bringing in. You really can't achieve any financial goal in life without a source of income. That is absolutely paramount. With income, I'll let you know there's no ceiling to how much you can earn. I'm going to keep this video simple because I'm not going to go into the various many ways that you can earn more money, because again, this is a step-to-step guide on how to achieve your financial goals and build that wealth that you want. So I'm going to keep this really simple, but I will leave that caveat with you. There is absolutely no cap to how much money you can earn. And in a later video, I'm going to go into the details of how you can go about earning more money. So stay tuned for that. So the second thing you're going to want to look at is your spending and your saving. So that's the second thing we're going to have a look at. Now, spending is anything you spend your money on or anything you use your money on. So whether that is home furnishings, rent, mortgage, food, security, insurance, or entertainment, spending is basically whatever you use your money for. Now, I want to make this absolutely clear. It doesn't matter how much you make. In this game of wealth building, it's not necessarily about how much you make. It's more about how much you keep, and that is the game. So you know how I said the starting point is earn a source of income? Once you do that, it's not necessarily about how much income you're earning, whether you're doing manual labor, maybe you're a bartender, or you're a big corporate seated in an office somewhere. It absolutely doesn't matter how much you make, because in this game of wealth building, it's all about how much of what you make can you keep. So say you're earning $2,000. At the end of every month, after everything that you spend on, like we've mentioned, entertainment, food and all that stuff, how much do you keep? So that's the key thing that I want you to understand, that the more you can keep of what you make, the better chances you give yourself of building wealth. If you guys can get a poster and put that somewhere, like literally get a poster, put that somewhere next to your bed, put it on your fridge, put it on your desk. That is something that I want you to understand and keep with you for the rest of your life. So what that means is it doesn't matter what job you do or what profession you're in or your level of education, as long as you're earning a source of income and you can keep a lot of that income that you earn, then you're on a very good path to building wealth. Being able to manage your spending is a very critical step in building your wealth. So essentially, you need to ensure that you're spending much less than what you earn. Otherwise, you're not going to have enough money to cover your living expenses, or worse, you're going to fall into debt. In this video, I'm not going to go into the details of how to manage your spending because, again, I'm just covering the fundamentals. If you guys want me to make another video on exactly how I manage my expenses and how you can do the same, please put it down in the comments. A general rule of thumb to help you manage your expenses is, so always ask yourself whenever you're going to spend money, do I absolutely need this? Can I survive? Can I live without this? And if the answer is yes, it is not necessary. It falls within the desires category. And that just means that you don't need to spend money on this. So don't. Remember, don't confuse your necessary expenses with your desires. These are two different things. Necessary expenses, like we said, that is healthcare, shelter, so rent, mortgage, food, maybe transportation because you need to go and make that money. Those are necessary expenses. Desires are things that you absolutely don't need. You can live without them, right? So always remember that. Now let's go into the third aspect, which is saving. Now saving is simply the difference between what you earn and what you spend. So say you earn $2,000 and your expenditure, so living, rent or mortgage, food, any other expenses that you have, say $1,500 a month. So that will simply mean that you're going to be left with $500. That $500 can be your savings. Now that is money that you can put aside. One would ask, why would I put this money aside? Now the first reason you're going to want to save is first of all to cover any emergencies. That is the number one first reason you're going to need to save. So many people often underlook this reason for saving because they forget that emergencies happen at any time, right? Like you can't plan for everything. This is a fund which you use to cater for any sort of unexpected events that occur. It could be anything from losing your job, illness as well. You could literally fall sick and that affects your ability to work and earn money. But having an emergency fund can go a long way into helping you alleviate that and make it a bit easier. So first reason you want to save is to build up an emergency fund to cater for those needs. A lot of people suggest anywhere between 6 months to 12-month emergency fund is acceptable. Obviously, this is going to depend on your affordability and what your needs are, obviously. So when I say 6 to 12 months, I mean 6 or 12 months of your take-home salary. So from our example, if you're earning $2,000 every single month, 6 months will be $12,000 worth of emergency fund, and 12 months would be $24,000. This is absolutely critical because as COVID showed us, things can happen. COVID came, no one expected it. It literally just came out of the blue. So many layoffs, so many people's jobs were taken, so many people's lives were taken as well. So you could literally wake up and you've lost someone dear to you. And the next reason, obviously, maybe the main breadwinner of the family, those kind of things can happen. And if you're not in a position where you're ready or where you have an emergency fund to fall back on, this can prove to be a very difficult time for you. So that's the number one reason for saving, to build up an emergency fund to cater for those unexpected eventualities. I know saving can be very difficult. A lot of people find it difficult to save. A lot of the difficulties that people face with saving is because of trying to keep up with the Joneses. A lot of financial problems are caused by trying to keep up with the Joneses. So basically, this is spending money just to try and show other people that you have the money, rather than because you actually need to spend this money. So what I mean by that is, let's say you have your $2,000, you've put out all your expenses, your actual living expenses, so $1,500, and you have this $500 left at the end of the month. So rather than put it aside and save it for a rainy day or to invest or something like that, when you see your friend, this best friend of yours has bought a brand new iPhone or a brand new car or something like that, there's that sort of social pressure that comes up that makes people spend money that they ideally would not have spent. So in this situation, you go out there, you also get a brand new phone or a brand new set of AirPods or a brand new car or something like that, or a brand new house as well. Not because you actually needed the car or the house or the AirPods, but just because you saw this friend of yours doing this, and because of that social pressure, like, how will they see me? Will he feel like I'm broke? Will they feel like I don't have money? Will they feel like I'm struggling? So that sort of pressure pushes you into spending money that you otherwise would not have spent. And psychology has shown that these feelings of social comparison and the social pressure that comes from it can create an enormous amount of pressure and make people act contrary to what is in their self-interest. So just like the example I've given, you absolutely don't need a new phone. Your phone works fine. It's not spoiled. It's not this. You don't need to upgrade it. But just because everyone is getting it, or you're comparing yourself to other people, you feel like, how will they see me? What will they think of me? Will they think I'm broke? You end up spending something that you ideally did not need, and that sets you back. So this is a very powerful thing. Again, I'm not going to talk about it in more detail here, but I just want you to be aware of that. A lot of us fall victim of this. So if you find that you're someone who falls victim of this, so you make purchases that are questionable and you ideally would not have needed them, if this sounds like something that you do, this is something that you seriously need to work on, because this is one of the things that is setting you back. But the good news is this is something that you can actively work on and find yourself moving in a different path, a positive one that is aligned with your financial goals and objectives. You will only begin to build wealth when you start to realize that part of all the money that you make is actually yours to keep. And I'm going to repeat that. You will only start to realize wealth when you understand that part of all the money that you make is actually yours to keep. So let that sink with you a bit. Yeah? And what do I mean by that? You need to understand that you go out there. What I mean by that is you need to money. You're the one taking the risks. Say, I'm going to give an example of a 9 to 5, right? If you wake up every morning, Monday to Friday, go out there, you make that money, you deal with these bosses, you deal with these companies and their expectations and things like that. The only reason that took you there is for you to actually make something of yourself. You didn't go there because, oh, you love the company. Okay, in many people's cases, you don't go to work because you love the company or you even love the job you're doing. It's about you want to make money to help yourself survive and to cover your living expenses and to also achieve your goals. That is basically why you go out there and make that money, however way you make it. Unfortunately, most of us, when we get the money, this is how it goes. So you have that $2,000, you pay for your rent or mortgage, you pay for, so that's housing covered, you pay for your transport where you're going to and from work, you pay for your utilities, so all your basic necessities you pay for. Now, you forget that the rest of that, once you've covered your basic needs, the ones that are actually essential for you to live, many people don't realize that the rest of that is yours. So this is what I mean. After covering rent and all those kind of basic needs, the balance, instead of paying themselves and keeping that money, what people tend to do is they find other uses for that money. So they start paying other people. For example, Now you add on a Netflix subscription, fancy car payment that you're making or lease, some holiday that you took on debt that you're paying for now, all sorts of other random expenses, a new phone, new AirPods, a new pair of shoes, new clothes, things that are outside the basic package that you need. And guess what happens after that? So that basically swallows up whatever money you had left after spending on your basic needs, to a point where either you don't have any money left, or even it takes you into debt because now you're spending beyond your means. So the reverse of that, and what I want you to understand, is whenever you make money, you need to understand that part of this money is yours to keep, because you went out there, you went and worked for it, and this money needs to serve you. When you make this $2,000, the first thing you need to do is pay yourself first, rather than paying other people for goods and services they provide for you. So pay yourself first. And what paying yourself first means is saving. So you have that $2,000, rather than first spending on rent, healthcare, and all those kind of things, and then saving what is left. You need to reverse that cycle and be like, you know what? Once my money comes in, the first thing I'm going to do is pay myself first. Keep a portion of it for myself, and that is saving. So when that $2,000 comes in, take off the 500 pounds or $500 that you need for yourself and put that aside. In what's left, now pay your other living expenses, so things that help you survive and have a decent living. That is the way you need to start thinking about this thing. Otherwise, if you start in a mode where you're paying other people first, you will never pay yourself. You will never, because it gets really difficult if you start paying these bills and that bills and then adding these other expenses that are unnecessary. Before you know it, you have no money left for yourself and for your dreams. So please bear that in mind. Start by paying yourself first, i.e. saving, and then cater for all the other expenses. Always pay yourself as much as you can, as much as you're comfortable with. Pay yourself first. And I can guarantee you guys that the mental shift that has in your mind, the power that paying yourself first has, when you get that money and you put some aside for yourself first, oh my God, you have no idea the mental power that has into propelling you forward, you know? Just try it out and please let me know in the comments how it feels and what impact that has had on your life since you started doing it. And we will share a note. I won't give you a simple definition of wealth to me, based off the research I've done and the various books that I've read. Wealth is basically a person's ability to live for a number of days forward without needing to work. So basically just asking yourself, if I stopped working today, how long can I survive into the future? Now the answer to that question is, how much savings do you have? So basically the number of savings that you have equates to the amount of wealth you have in that definition. So say your living expenses and all that stuff, your basic living bundle is about $1,500, like we've been saying in this example. If you have savings worth $3,000 in the bank, that just basically means if you stopped working today, you can live for 2 months without having to worry about anything. No one's telling you to do this, do that. You can live comfortably for 2 whole months without needing to work. If you have 15,000, you can live for 10 months. You get the picture. So basically your savings determines your wealth. And for me, wealth is that freedom. You'll be able to do anything that you want, anytime, with anyone, anywhere, without having to answer to anyone, right? But the only way you can achieve that is through savings. So if you have no savings, right, then that is not possible. So there's a common question I normally ask people who are around me or in my circles, right? Just to make them understand why savings is absolutely important and why it's also important to take your personal finances very seriously. So the question I want you to ask yourself is, how much money have you made since you started working? So it doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're a teenager making money as a content creator or someone who has been in the workforce for so many years. Just try to, and it doesn't even need to be accurate, right? Just get the calculator on your phone and try and calculate roughly how much you've made take home, not gross, take home, like after tax dollars, right? How much have you made since you started working? So in my example, the example that I've been using in this video, for someone who has been earning $2,000 a month, let's say, so I'm going to use my years of experience. I've been working for 6 years now, since I started working. So let's use that example of the $2,000. So in this situation, someone who is earning $2,000, right, every single month after tax, multiply that by 12, so that's 24K a year, right? Multiply that by 6 years. If that was my circumstances, that's $144,000, right? In 6 years that have been earned, take home just from, let's say, a normal 9 to 5, right? After figuring that out, the most important question you need to ask yourself is, how much of that do you have to show for yourself right now? Take your time, ponder upon that, think about it, and genuinely ask yourself that question. How much have I made since I started working? And how much of that do I have to show for myself right now? Scary, right? It's very scary. And that's the kind of thought process that I want you to have. If before you didn't take personal finances seriously, that's a question and that's a way of thinking that will make you understand why you need to take personal finances seriously. If you take a tally of all the money you've made since you started working and take a tally of how much of that you have to show, and what I mean by how much you have to show for it is how much do you have in saving? How much do you have in assets? Do you have land? Do you have apartments? Do you have a property? What do you have to show for yourself? Where has that money all gone? You get the point? Where has that money all gone? And that is a very scary thing to think about, and it's a very awakening thing. It doesn't even have to be scary. It's just awakening, right? Just to kind of show you that you actually need to take personal finances seriously, because it's not a problem of you've not been making money. For me, this was very eye-opening because it showed me that it's not a case of I've not been making money. The money has been made in these 6 years that I've been working. But the problem has been my way of keeping it. The problem has been keeping it. And that's why we're here discussing this today, because it's about how I've been spending my money, how I've been investing my money, my relationship with money. If you're someone at this point in time, you have very few savings, you have very few by way of assets, this should be an eye-opener to show you that, you know what? I need to take my personal finances seriously so that I'm able to keep more of what I make, have at least savings aside, or if you don't have savings, at least you have some assets, you know? Let's say that money has been put towards land, or it has been put towards a house or apartments. Maybe you own some apartments, you know, or some stocks. At least then you can be able to see the fruits of your labor. Otherwise, what's going to happen is if you don't have that realization, I mean, right now we've just taken a 6-year period, right, as an example, but there's some of us who have been working for, let's say, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years even. This can literally be you, where your entire working cycle up to the point where you retire, you've made a bunch of money, right? And these numbers rack up. You've made, let's say, $2 million in the entire lifespan that you've been working. But in terms of what you have to show for that, there's absolutely nothing. And that's exactly what keeps people in the rat race, working forever, with no end and no end in sight, feeling defeated, feeling like they are not moving anywhere, because they're not taking their personal finances seriously. So that's what I wanted to leave with you. I wanted you to really understand that and really internalize that, properly understand why personal finances, your personal finances is something that you need to take very seriously so that you can start building the wealth that you want, putting the money that you make somewhere and actually working for you and accumulating so that you can retire young, enjoy your money and live the life that you want. And I want you to know that it's really possible. It's really possible. But the action has to be taken now. You have to take those steps now. Not tomorrow, not the other day. You have to start taking charge of your life now. That is the message that I want to send to you. So what savings do for you? Savings give you options. And what do I mean by options? When you have a buffer, right? When you have money aside, you have a savings pot somewhere. That gives you options. Do whatever you want, with whoever you want, whenever you want. So I'll give you an example. Say this individual that we keep using, of who earns $2,000. If this person has savings worth, let's say, $10,000, right? That means that this person can literally sit home, right, for 5 months, roughly 5 months, and do whatever they want and relax and be with their family, and without having any pressure of a boss or someone looking over them, telling them to do this, be here, do that, have these deadlines. You get what I mean? So that's what savings gives you. Savings also gives you other options, which are extremely important. It gives you the ability to invest and grow your money. So you might not be that person who wants to chill or go on holiday with your savings or something like that, but you're someone who wants to have your money grow for you, grow and work for you, right? So savings gives you those options as well. Because with savings, that means you can put your money towards stocks. That means you can put your money in a business as well, If you want to start a business or start a side hustle, that is very possible when you have savings, because now you have the money and the means with which to invest in your business, invest in yourself. Savings also give you the options to like try a new career, for example, right? If you wanted to leave the career you have now and go into a different career, that can be a bit difficult, right? Because it's unknown, right? It can be very scary to pivot and go from another career to another. So for example, in my situation, I'm an accountant, right? If I wanted to go and be a salesperson, right? Which is something I've honestly always considered, but it's very difficult to do that, right? And scary to do that if without having some sort of buffer, some sort of foundation and safety net, which can help you transition into that. So in this situation, if I had significant savings put aside, let's say if I had $10,000, right, or 20, that gives me the option to be able to go into this new career and test the waters without any fear of, if this doesn't work out, I'm screwed. You get what I mean? Eh? So those are the kind of options savings gives you, and that's why it's absolutely important that you save. It's so important. I can't stress that enough. If you want to grow your money, that can only be done through savings, right? If you want to change career, if you want to invest, if you want to quit your job, if you want to travel, if you want to travel the world, if you want to be financially free, I don't know, travel the world or take a sabbatical, name it. That is only possible through savings, right? So it's very, very critical. I know it's difficult to save, but I hope that those options that it gives you that I've mentioned show you that it's worth it in the end. It is absolutely worth it. And no one should ever tell you that you shouldn't save, right? Another option savings gives you is the options to also buy the things you want, right? Outright, without debt, right? So savings gives you the option to also avoid debt, right? So in a lot of countries, the only way to buy something is either through cash or through debt, right? And many people, unfortunately, don't have the cash because, like I said, they don't have that a good handle on their spending, right? So people tend to go into debt to buy maybe that phone you want, maybe that laptop, maybe that new car, maybe that house. When you have savings, that gives you the options to do that, right? To be able to do that and have less debt. So the more savings that you have, the less debt that you're going to need when you're going to buy whatever you're going to buy, right? So if you're going to buy a car that is worth, let's say $25,000, right? And you have savings worth, even if it's $5,000 or $10,000, that means that you're going to get less debt, right? So in that example, if you have 10K worth of savings, that means the debt that you get is 15,000. As opposed to someone and that can go a long way into reducing the monthly payments that you make, right? You could also buy this car outright. If you're saving diligently enough, you can also buy car outright through your savings, right? Or that phone, or that brand new iPhone, and there's so much power, mental power and fulfillment that comes from buying something out, right? But I just wanted to also bring that to your attention that the more savings that you have, the less debt that you're potentially going to get into because you have the cash to be able to do so. And the classic example is like a mortgage, right? You know how a mortgage works. It's basically you want a house that's worth however much it is. You have to put some money down for the bank to be able to give you the mortgage, right? So the more money that you have to give the bank, right? Most banks ask for 25%, but if you don't have to give them 25%. If you have significant savings, right? And you can put down 50% on the house that you want to buy, that just means that you're going to borrow much less from the bank and hence have a very small or a significantly smaller mortgage payment to make, right? So I just wanted to stress that point and make sure that you understand all the options that savings gives you, right? Whether it is retiring, whether it's changing career, whether it is going on holiday, buying the things you want, or even reducing the amount of debt reliance that you have. Savings gives you all those options, right? So please, no one should ever tell you not to save. It's absolutely critical, right? And the question is, how much should I save, right? Marvin, you're saying we should save, so how much should I save? Typically, you're going to want to save about a minimum, at least, of 10% of your after-tax paycheck every single month, right? more if you can, right? But that is the bare minimum. Try and save at least 10% of your check, right? Again, it goes back to what we were saying of paying yourself first. So pay yourself first, 10% of your paycheck. So in this example, you have two. If you earn $2,000, right? 10% of that will be $200 every month, right? It doesn't seem like much money, but I can guarantee if you do this long enough, right? It's going to rack up and it's going to make a significant difference in your life, right? So 10%, that's just minimum, right? If you're someone who can afford to save more, please do so. Save anywhere between 10 to about 20, 30, 50. Some people are lucky enough to be in a 2-income household whereby both you and your partner are in some sort of stable jobs or are bringing in some level of income, right? That is perfect. If you find yourself in a situation like that, please do not throw away that opportunity. Use that chance that you have and make sure that you maximize your savings. I have seen people in two people income households giving off only one person's income. And that's amazing. So that means that their saving rate, their combined saving rate is 50%. That's crazy. And that's absolutely amazing. That's just to show you what is possible. If you cut back on your expenses and make sure that you're paying yourself first and doing the right thing. The next area we're going into is where to put your money after you've started saving. So just going back to where we started from, you're now earning money, or you know your money, all the money that comes in, managing your expenses, your difference between what your needs are and what your desires are, you're paying yourself first, you're saving every single month, right? And now you have that pot of money that's accumulating, which is your savings, through paying yourself first. So the next question is, where do you put this money? Now you have a pot of money that's there seated, it's accumulating. Where do you now put this money, right? So that's the next step we're going into. So right off the bat, I will just let you know that it is not worth having your money sitting somewhere, idle, doing nothing. Because money sat there doing nothing is no good. So there's what we call inflation. So inflation is basically the general rise in prices of goods and services over time. Now this is something that happens whether you like it or not. Inflation rates around different countries vary grossly, different countries, different continents, but basically why you need to understand what inflation is this is something that reduces the value of your money. So for example, if you have $1 saved in your account today and you wait 12 months, that dollar today can buy a chocolate bar, maybe a Cadbury chocolate bar. Come next year, that same chocolate bar will be worth, let's say, $1.50. So what that means is you kept this money in a bank. That money hasn't changed, right? You have this $1. Today it can buy you that chocolate bar. 12 months later, the same dollar that you kept now can't even afford that basic chocolate bar. What that basically means is that your money has lost value, and this is a phenomenon that happens every single day. It's something that we live with. We can't control. It's not something that you personally can control, but it's something that you have to be aware of. So basically, money loses value over time. I'm sure you can find so many examples in your own day-to-day life, whether it's buying clothes or a car or a house, things that you wanted to buy, let's say, 5 years ago. How much do they cost now? So think about it, that shoe that you like, or that chocolate bar that you like, or that car that you like. How much was it last year? How much is it this year? And obviously now with things like wars going on, with COVID, prices just keep varying and going up and down. And hence your money just keeps losing value. So basically what I'm just trying to say is, it's not a wise idea to have your money sat there doing nothing, because it's just losing value. It's losing its purchasing power. So the things that your money can buy keeps reducing and reducing the more that you keep it. And this is just something that happens, and again, you have no control over that as an individual, but it's something you have to be aware of. So the question is now, what do you do with your money? Where do you put it? You need to have your money accumulating and growing at least a decent rate. So what I mean by that is, say your country's inflation rate is 5%. So what that means is every year prices of goods and services increase by 5%, right? In an ideal world, you want to have your money growing at a rate that's higher than the inflation rate. What that means is your money is not losing value. A basic example I can give you is if a chocolate bar costs £1 today or $1 today, and say you're in a country where your inflation rate is 10%. In a year's time, this same chocolate bar, same ingredients and everything, with a 10% inflation rate, this same chocolate bar is going to cost you $1.10. So what that means is, if this money of yours is still a dollar. If you kept a dollar for a whole year, right, you can no longer afford this chocolate bar. So your money has lost value. So you would need an extra 10 pence to be able to afford this chocolate bar, right? Now, in an ideal world, you want to put your money in investments that are going to help it grow at a rate that's higher than the inflation rate. And that means that your money is not losing value. Going back to that example, if your inflation rate is 10%, you want to invest your money in avenues that are going to generate for you a minimum of a 10% rate of return, right? In an ideal situation, you're going to want to have a rate of return that is much higher than that, so that your money is actually gaining value, right, against the inflation rate. Just to give you an example of how that works now. In this situation now, instead of putting your money, your $1 somewhere where it's not gaining any value, right? So again, now you've gotten an avenue which is going to generate for you a 10% return. In this situation, the $1 in a year's time will no longer be $1, right? In 12 months' time, it will be $1.10. So you see how there you've kept up with the rate of inflation and your money has remained the same at the very least and has not lost any value. So because of the fact that you invested it in something that got you a 10% return and your inflation rate was 10%, now in 12 months' time, in that savings account, instead of having $1, you've gained interest, right, of 10 pence. Now you have the 10 cents interest plus the $1 that you had in, for a total of $1.10 in the savings account. And now, because the inflation rate is 10%, you've basically matched the inflation rate. See how now you can afford the chocolate bar. Because 12 months later, like we said, it will be $1.10. Now you can afford it. In an ideal world, you're going to want to have investments that are going to generate a return that's much higher than the inflation rate. So in this situation, if the inflation rate is still 10%, your rate of return is anywhere beyond 10%. So set 11%, 12%, even 20%. Let's use an example of, let's say 20%. Again, this is very ideal, right? So in a 20% example, if you put $1 in an investment that's going to earn you 20%, or a savings account that's getting you 20%, in a year's time, you're going to have earned interest of 20 cents plus the $1 that you left in there. So in total, in 12 months' time, you're going to have $1.20, right? If your inflation rate is 10%, that means now that goods and services have increased by 10%, right? So again, that candy bar is now $1.10, right? But your money has increased from $1 to $1.20. So you see how your money has even gained value over the inflation, right? It has gained much more value over and above the inflation rate, right? So you can even buy this candy bar, right, at $1.10 and still even remain with 10 cents that you earned out of the interest. So basically, that's just a general idea of how to invest, right? Or basically what you're looking for when you're investing, right? It's important to know that you can't have money just sat there doing nothing, because it will lose value. It will automatically lose value. And again, you can't control that. But what is in your control is where you put your money and the kind of rate of return that you want to get on your money against inflation, and also to meet your goals, right? Before even thinking of where to put your money, you're going to need to know what an asset is and what a liability is, right? And what the difference is between the two. Now, I like the definition of Robert Kiyosaki in his book, which is an amazing book that I really recommend to get you the fundamentals of investing and savings and how to use your money. Now, he defines an asset as anything that puts money in your pocket, and a liability as anything that takes money out of your pocket. And that's a definition that I use in my day-to-day life. Because as we've been saying, you want to have your money grow and accumulate, and like the example we've just gone through of the inflation, right? Growing above the rate of inflation. Once you've understood the difference between an asset and a liability, you're going to want to concentrate your efforts on purchasing assets that generate for you cash, right? i.e. assets that put money in your pocket. Now, some of the examples of assets out there are stocks, bonds, income generating real estate, any other asset that appreciates, right? So it could be something like land. Land doesn't generate cash, but it appreciates. Because it appreciates, you can sell it for a profit. So those are some of the examples of some income generating assets that you can put your money in. That will guarantee that your money is not just sat there, it's literally out there working for you and generating a return for you. Now, in terms of putting your money somewhere, I want you to think of your money as an employee. That's the best advice I can give you. You know how, in terms of someone who is working in a normal 9 to 5, you're an employee for a business, right? You represent the business, you represent their brand, and they send you out there, or even if you sat at a desk, you're out there executing tasks on their behalf. You're out there making money for them, right? Whether it is through calling clients or dealing with clients, or in my situation as an accountant, you're doing audits, or you're doing what? You're out there working hard, putting in your time and effort to make them money. That's basically what you're doing as an employee, right? I want you to start thinking of your money as an employee, right? That money that you put aside and save and accumulate, I want you to think of every last dollar, right, as an employee that you can send out there and have this employee work for you, go out there, work hard for you, and generate a return for you. You get what I mean? And when I say generate a return, I'm talking about finding profitable employment for your money. So you want to have each last dollar going out there, right? Working hard for you, right? And bringing back more dollars. And that's what we mean by accumulating, having your money accumulate, right? And that's how a lot of the rich think of their money. So you will not find rich people having their money sat there. This is how Robert encourages people to think of their money. Think of your money as an employee, which is meant to go out there and work hard for you and bring for you returns, and hence more money, right? So it is your job. You're the boss of your own money. You need to find profitable employment for this employee. And that's the only way this employee can go out there, work hard, and bring for you returns. And by returns, I mean bringing for you extra money, right? And all this extra money that your money brings, you also now then find further employment, send it back out there to go and work hard again to bring more returns. That's basically how investing works. So going back to that $1 example that we've been using, if you get $1 and put it in an investment account, right, or a savings account, that generates 10% return, that is you putting your money to work, right? It's not just sat there. If you got your $1 and put it in a savings account that earns no interest, then there basically you have a dormant employee. So an employee who is sat there doing nothing but losing value. In fact, it's actually losing value, just like the example we used earlier, right? However, if you get this $1 and put it in a savings account, as an example, I'm just using a savings account as one example of how you can employ your money, right? If you get this money, put it in a savings account that earns 10% interest. That is you now finding profitable employment for this money of yours, right? You've gotten it, put it out there, it's earning a 10% in return. So every year, this money, this $1 is generating for you a 10% return, which is 10 pence. So every year, this employee, which is the money, goes every single 12 months, generates an extra bit of cash, right? Then if you leave that money there, that extra bit of cash joins with the $1 that was already there, and now they form a bigger team and go out there and even generate a bigger return. And that's how compounding works, right? So and this goes on and on and on, and before you know it, this pot of cash of yours just keeps accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. Again, this is just one example. I can give an example of, let's say, real estate, right? Say you're in a country where you can actually, let's say, set up apartments, or you're in a country where you can buy an apartment, right? If you buy this apartment with this money, that is now the profitable employment that you found for your money. Understand the rate of return that you're going to get. If you have this apartment, you have a tenant in there who is paying you money every single month. So let's say after all expenses removed, you have a profit of, let's say, £200 or $200 every single month on this apartment. That is your money now going out there, working for you. You've given it profitable employment. It's now working for you and generating for you returns, right? Which it would not have done if it was out there sat idle. So you get the picture. So that's just the basics of investment. Find money, reduce your expenses, save money, invest money in cash generating assets, find profitable employment for your money. Think of your money as an employee that you have to send out there, but understand that it is your responsibility to find that employee of yours, which is your money, profitable employment, in order for it to be able to generate for you positive returns. Get it? One of the things that Robert talks about as the reason why people don't achieve their financial goals is because people don't mind their own business. What Robert defines as minding your own business is understanding the need to manage your personal finances and invest in cash generating assets, right? So what he means by that is, so what he means by people not minding their own business is you go out there, imagine every single day and week, you go out there, you work this 9 to 5, you go out there, you put in all the hard work, you earn your money. At the end of every month, all you do is basically pay bills, rack up more debt, right? And the cycle continues. So this cycle is so perpetual and can go on for the rest of your working life, to a point where, like we said earlier, you can reach your retirement and you have nothing to show for yourself, right? So that's how Robert says people don't mind their own business, right? So in all this time that you've worked, right, all that you're working, other than minding your own business, you're minding other people's business. So what that means is you're so focused on working for other people, doing your 9 to 5, doing your job right, and making other people rich by helping them achieve their objectives, right? And completely neglecting your own personal goals, your own personal finances, and the role that you have to play in getting yourself to where you need to go financially. That's what he means. He encourages, and I am also encouraging you to mind your own business, right? So stay in your 9 to 5 job, stay in your daytime job, but mind your own business, right? Start putting money aside, start paying yourself first, start saving, right? Reduce those expenses and once you start developing a pot of money, a pot of savings, start finding profitable employment for that money. Start buying assets, start buying things like real estate, stocks, bonds, start that business, That's how you mind your own business. Otherwise, if you don't mind your own business, you will find yourself working forever in other people's businesses, helping them mind their businesses, and whereas you're not getting anywhere, you're not getting your financial goals met, you're not getting your dreams met, you find yourself frustrated, right? And not moving anywhere in life. So mind your own business. Mind your own business. And your business is your personal finances and your money. Mind your business. Right, now the fourth part we're going to talk about, and arguably the most important, is your mindset and your personal education. A lot of you think by education I mean a university degree and things like that. No, that's not what I mean. I mean your financial education. That's what I'm talking about. Right off the bat, I'll tell you that educating yourself is way more important than money in the long run. And I'll repeat that. Your personal education is way more important than money in the long run. One of the financial gurus that I follow, called Alex Hormozi, who is a very successful business person, and he has helped people start so many businesses and has so many businesses of his own as well. He introduced this concept called ignorance debt. So what he says is the difference between where you are now and where you want to be is what you haven't learned yet. So basically the difference between where you are now and earning 100 million is what you haven't learned yet. So basically what he's saying is the only reason why you're not earning 100 million is because you don't know how to earn 100 million. And this makes a lot of sense. I mean, you don't have the skills, you don't have the skill set, you haven't built that yet to be able to earn 100 million, right? And that makes absolute sense because, I mean, think about it. People who are earning 100 million, a billion, this billionaire, there's absolutely no difference between that person and myself. There's no difference between that person and you. The only difference is this knowledge gap. They know how to make 100 million and you don't. So what that means is if you want to get from here where you are at, right, to earning the kind of money that you want to have, you have to close this knowledge gap, right, all the way down. So find out, how do I make 100 million? The people who are making 100 million, how do they do that? Read books on how to make 100 million. Read books on whatever field that you want to make 100 million in, right? Whether it is starting a business or it's content creation, try and find out who has made it. Try and find out who has walked the walk that I want to walk on, right? Who are those individuals? What did they do? What kind of people were they? What kind of skills did they learn, right? Do they have books? Read their books, follow their seminars, attend their courses, Really just educate yourself and skill yourself and empower yourself and close this knowledge gap, right? And I am a very strong believer in this. The problem is most people try and just go out there and start investing, throwing money at the problem. Like they go buy bonds or stocks or assets or real estate or land or whatever it is that you want to invest in, without first investing in their knowledge and in their learning of how to actually make these investments, right? So if you want to be a real estate investor, right, or a real estate developer, or a stock broker, or a stock investor, most people will just jump in and try and achieve the results, right? Without first understanding or educating themselves on the subject matter, like how do I invest in real estate, right? What are the ABCs? How do I go about this, right? And that's the best way, that is the best approach to investing. Don't just dive in, don't just jump in. First educate yourself, because investing is a very serious thing, right? Putting your money down into something. Investments go up and down, so your hard-earned savings can disappear, right? But educate yourself. If you study the greats, the people who have done this, who have been there, who have suffered, who have gone through all the challenges, right? That can close the learning gap and help you on your path to investing and achieving the goals that you want. But most people won't do this. Most people just want to dive in. They want to go and invest. They want to be that investor. They are really, they see dollar signs in their eyes. They're like, you know what? I can do this. They just dive in blindly. Don't be that person. The single most important asset that we all have, every single person on this planet, is our minds, right? And once this mind is trained well enough, you can create, there's no limit to the amount of wealth you can create. And I can guarantee that, right? So invest in your mind. You need to understand that there are so many people who are professionally educated, They've gone to university, gotten higher degrees, gotten PhDs, but they are financially illiterate and they're struggling. And I'm sure I don't need to tell you, you have seen examples, whether it's in your family, whether it is in the friends, maybe your social groups. You've seen those people who are, it could even be yourself as well. I'm honest enough to say that, I've been in that position. I have a university degree, I'm an accountant. A lot of people would consider me very smart financially, but I have struggled with finances, I struggled with finances for so many years in my life, right? Until I educated myself and put that right. So I was financially illiterate, irrespective of having all these degrees and being even an accountant, someone who is actually working in the accounting field. This does not shield me from being financially illiterate, So educate yourself. Having these degrees, being a professional, or even if you're working in the finance field, this does not guarantee that you know anything about money, or does not guarantee that you're going to be successful with money, or does not guarantee that you're going to achieve all these goals. It does not make you better than anyone else. It doesn't make you better than any person on this world. And I had to learn that the hard way, right? So I'm doing this video so that you guys don't fall into the same trap, so that you guys can have the proper foundation. The money comes and goes, but if you have the proper education about money, you gain the power over it and can begin to build massive wealth. But it starts with educating yourself about how money works, How does money work? How can I gain money? How can I maintain money? Gaining money is one thing, but retaining it is the hardest thing. So educate yourself about how money works. And once you begin to do that, you can gain power over the money and begin to manipulate it, like we said, to build yourself this massive wealth. The world is always handing you opportunities every single day of your life. But oftentimes we don't see them. I'll raise my hand and say, I've had so many different opportunities in my life that I've not, when I think about them in hindsight, I didn't see them and I didn't make the most of them, right? And you could be the same, where opportunities have come and passed you by and you've not taken advantage of them. It took me a while to realize, but I finally figured out that one of the major reasons why all these opportunities keep passing me by or kept passing me by is because opportunities are not seen with our eyes, they're seen with our mind. That is why educating yourself is absolutely critical. Because once you do that, then you can begin to see the opportunities around you. Once your mind is sharp, once your mind understands how money works, how opportunities work, once you begin to skill yourself, you have different skills and different skill sets, sharpening your mind every single day, that is when your mind can start to understand the opportunities around you and you can take advantage of them to make a better life for yourself. Another thing I want to leave you with is do not take financial advice from people who don't understand money, right? So seek the advice of experts, seek the advice of people who actually understand money, or at least people who you see are in a position that you aspire to. Surround yourself with people who understand money, people who are familiar with it, people who work with money each and every day, and people who, most importantly, have made lots of it. Once you begin to surround yourself with those kinds of people, even your own mindset towards money changes, because you start to see the kind of things these people do, these people who are successful, these people who have done the things you want to do. Through that sort of association, you start to breed different characters and different habits. So surround yourself with the right people who will start changing your mindset, start changing your habits. And it is through this that your relationship towards money will start to change for the better. And you can start moving towards achieving your goals. One of the more important things that educating yourself does, it gives you the ability to earn more. And what I mean by that is the more you learn, the more you increase your ability to earn. So what do I mean by that? Even if we go into the conventional professional skills, have you noticed the more skills you gain, right? Let's say you have this degree or more skills in a particular field, the more employable you are. So the more your ability to earn. Similarly to any other education that you impart in your mind, right? If you want to say be a broker, a stockbroker, or a real estate investor, or a content creator, the more you learn about content creation, the more you're increasing your ability to earn from these content creations. So educating yourself goes a long way into increasing your ability to earn. And remember what we said at the beginning, earning money is the first step, right? So the more you learn, the more you improve your skills, the more you surround yourself with people who know what they're doing, who have been there, who have done it, who have a good relationship with money, the better your relationship becomes with money. Like, there's so many benefits. You gain from it in terms of your mindset. You also gain from it in terms of increasing your skill set, hence increasing your ability to earn more money, like we said, which is one of the most important things. And that goes a long way into helping you achieving your financial goals, because the more money you can earn, obviously the more opportunities you can take up, the more money you can save, the more opportunities you can take up, the more investing you can do, the more returns you can gain. There are benefits of learning and educating yourself and improving your mindset towards money and your mindset towards life generally are enormous. There are so many knock-on effects of educating yourself and getting your mind right that I can't exhaust them here, but you get the picture. Get your mind right, educate yourself, and you will be in the best position to earn more, live more, invest more, and achieve the goals that you want in this life. So the education you want to get around money is education around the laws around companies. You want to get education around tax law, understand taxes, because no one can escape tax. And this is the number one thing that sucks money out of businesses and out of people's pockets. The better you understand the laws around taxes, the more skilled you would be in keeping your money. Because again, like I said, this is the number one thing that takes money out of the pockets of both companies and individuals. And those who are ultra wealthy pride themselves in knowing the tax laws, or at least having people around them, like a sort of team around them of experts who understand taxes. That helps them be able to retain as much as possible in their companies or in their personal finances, so they're able to keep as much of the money as they make as possible. Another thing you want to educate yourself on is basic accounting. You need to understand what a liability is, what an asset is, and also the basic fundamentals of knowing how much income you make, accounting for that income, knowing how to manage your expenses, and educating yourself around basic accounting will get you there. Another area you want to develop skills in is investing. So read books on investing, how to invest, the basics of investing, ABCs of investing, and this will enable you to know where to put your money and make those smart, informed decisions about how to invest your money. Like we said earlier, this will help you better get profitable employment for your money. That basic understanding of investing and the ABCs, that is critical in trying to get your money to go out there and bring back as much returns as it can. Now, obviously, this is not an exhaustive list on the things that you need to educate yourself about money. However, an understanding of taxes and basic accounting and the laws of the markets and investing, those are the basics that can help you and better skill yourself and arm yourself with the right kind of knowledge and tools to be able to use your money wisely, understand where it's going, save more, invest wisely, and have your money grow, and also just build the wealth that you want to build. So it is very critical. It's not an exhaustive list, but we will cover several other techniques and skills that you need in later videos. And if there are any topics that you want me to cover, please put them down in the comments and I'll more than happily make videos on those. So to address the issue we had at the beginning of the video, are personal finances difficult? Do they have to be difficult? And to answer the question we had as well, can an average person like you and I, literally anyone in the world, achieve their financial goals, build massive wealth, be independent, be financially free? Can someone be able to achieve all that? My answer is a massive yes. And I stand by this. I stand firmly by this. Yes, you can do this. Yes, you can be rich. Yes, you can build massive wealth. Yes, you can build massive assets. Yes, your goals are valid. Yes, you can be financially free. Yes, you can achieve those goals you've always had for yourself. Yes, you can live the rich life you've always wanted. Yes, you can retire early. Yes, you can be financially free. Yes, you can live the life you've always wanted. And hopefully throughout this video, that is a feeling that you've gotten. Through an understanding of these basic principles of personal finance, I know you can achieve it. So don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't be rich. Don't let anyone ever make you feel less. Don't let anyone make you ever feel less because they are richer than you, or they have achieved a bit more than you, or maybe they're a bit further along in their journey than you are. I want to tell you today that you can do this, and I believe in you. I believe in you. I'm here with you through every step of the journey, and hopefully I know you're going to achieve massive and amazing things in this world. And I believe in you again. And let's go out there, let's smash it. I know you got this. I never want to make you feel alone in this journey. I used to feel alone in this journey because I felt like I was lost. I felt like I didn't get it right. I felt like I would never achieve anything in life. But here I am. I've achieved so much. I feel like I'm on a very good path to my financial freedom. I'm actively working towards that. And I want to rope you into this journey because I know that you can achieve the things that you have set out for yourself. So hopefully this has been helpful. And if you ever find yourself in a situation where you feel alone, or you feel lost, or you feel like you've forgotten some of these principles, I've created an acronym, right, that will help you. It's called EMRIL, right? It's EMRIL. And this is basically the fundamentals that we've just gone through in this video. So anytime you remember, just remember EMRIL, EMRIL. And the E stands for earn an income. So basically, like we said, just get an income. It doesn't matter how much you earn. You can achieve any amount and massive amounts of financial freedom and wealth, no matter whatever income that you're earning, right? Number 2, the M stands for manage your money. Now that you're earning an income, manage it. So that means just reduce your expenses. Understand the difference between what your needs are and what your desires are. And remember that question I told you. Always ask yourself before you make any spend. Always ask yourself when you're making expenses beyond your basic needs, do I really need this? Can I survive without this? And if the answer is yes, then that's a desire and you probably don't need to spend money on that, right? Then the R. R stands for retain your income. Retain and save, right? So once you've earned that income, you're managing it, you're reducing your expenses, only spending on the things that you need. The next one is R, which is retain and save. So always pay yourself first, right? Remember to always pay yourself first. So before you spend on anything, pay yourself first. Put that money aside and put it into your savings pot, because remember, this will give you the options that you need to save, to do anything that you want, to invest, to pursue another career, to live the life that you want, go on holiday, retain your money. Then the I stands for invest. I stands for invest. So understand the difference between an asset and a liability, and invest your money in cash generating assets. Treat your money like an employee, just like the way your company treats you, right? Go out there and find profitable employment for your money. Put it to work. Make sure your money is at all times working for you, right? So once you've retained that money and you have a buffer, now find profitable employment for your money. So that's the I, which is invest, right? Then the last one is L, which is learn and educate yourself. I can't stress this enough. This is extremely important because it makes all these other things, the M, it makes earning, it makes maintaining, it makes retaining your money, it makes investing all that much easier. The moment you learn, understand that your mind is your biggest asset, and understand that it's important to surround yourself with people who have done what you want to do, people who have achieved the things you want to achieve. That will help you shape the habits that you need to achieve the things that you want to achieve in this life. And also, educating yourself will give you a better potential to be able to retain more of the money that you make and also earn more money, right? Anytime you find yourself forgetting or you feel like you've forgotten the principles, just remember EMRIL, EMRIL. Earn, manage, retain and save, invest, and learn and educate yourself. And remember, you're not in this alone. I'm always here with you. So please, anytime, just drop something in the comment section, any question. If any of these things seemed a bit confusing, please just drop down a question in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer that. Let's get money wiser together and move towards achieving our financial goals together. I believe in you and you got this. Now, I have always been a massive advocate for community and collective success. One of my favorite quotes is from a guy called Grant Cardone. Some of you may have heard of him. He's a multi-billionaire, a real estate billionaire based in America. In one of his books called The 10X Rule, which is another massive, awesome book that has helped me get far along into my journey. One of the quotes that he mentions is, there is an abundance of success. And that really stuck with me. There is an abundance of success for all of us to enjoy. Basically, my success does not mean that you don't have to succeed. If I succeed, that doesn't take away from your success. You can still succeed where I have succeeded. Whether we're in the same field or not, there is an abundance of success in this universe and we can all be successful. I want us together to create this abundant success. So if you could please help me share this video with your friends, with your family, anyone you know who this video might be of help to, because you know, just like myself, I know so many people who have been suffering from personal finances, thinking it's difficult and all that. And if you are like me and now feel like personal finances are not that difficult and you can actually achieve the success that you want, please share this video because I know it can easily help someone out there who is feeling like the way I used to feel and the way you possibly feel, you know, just to help them understand that personal finances is not that difficult. It's not that worrying, so that they can understand how to also get on a path to achieving their own financial goals. So please share this video. Let's create that abundance of success together. And if you can as well, please like and subscribe. And guys, please let me know down in the comments the video topics that you want me to cover next. Remember, I covered topics ranging from personal finance to mindset, how to retrain your mind to achieve your goals, moving to the UK and being an immigrant and what that's about, even moving to any other country. Just let me know what topics that you want to see. Let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to tackle any videos that you want me to do. And once again, this has been your favorite accountant immigrant, Marvin here. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.